The long straights and high speeds of Italy's Monza circuit give way to another European racetrack, one much newer. This is round 5 of the Formula I F3 Championship at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. This afternoon, Formula I's F3 and F1 championships will contend their 5th round at the 16-turn circuit just outside of Barcelona at a circuit designed precisely for this kind of vehicle, pushing Nano Machine to its absolute limit. Welcome to Sim TV. My name is Kyle. I are joined by Connor Horn this afternoon as we take on our 5th round of the season at Barcelona. Connor, welcome back. Formula Racing from Spain this time around. We start off with F3 and head into F1 a little bit later today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be with you for one of these for the first time. I believe for the first time. I'm pretty excited to see what the racing is like today. And okay, Barcelona, it can be pretty wild at times. You never really know what to expect from here. And we've seen a lot of normal racing. MPH racing's obviously way up high at the table, but we could see anything different happen at any moment.
So in Barcelona, we got 4.5 minutes left in qualifying here. We'll head down to the racetrack and show you who's got provisional pole right now. That would be Jan Makila and Juho Peltomäki in the MPH Racing Team cars, Connor. They've been the dominant forces pretty much all season long. And of course, taking a look at the season points coming into the night, Makila out of Finland is the current points leader. And the most recent winner from Monza, 25 points at Italy, and second on the podium was his teammate Juho Peltomäki. So they stand the same way in qualifying right now. Who's good enough to dethrone these guys today?
I'm really not quite sure. Sam Cooter, he was really strong in his one win at Japan, but no points otherwise. So he really's got to get something going if he wants to get up there. Luke Barton had a first at Brazil, second in Japan, but he's really had a lot of struggles over that. Vincent Olivier Barron, he's really been the only consistent one getting points in each and every race, but only 2 podiums, both third place finishes in Road America and at Monza. So I think Barron's probably the one who's got the most consistency to maybe keep up with those two, but other than that, I don't even know. It's going to be really tough to get back in this championship fight for pretty much anyone else.
And we talk about Barcelona. This is a beautiful racetrack constructed in 1992, right during the Spanish Olympics. So the fun little fact about this was that they actually started one of their cycling races at the start-finish line of the being constructed racetrack. So sort of an interesting factoid there as we head into our afternoon. So a pretty long day of racing ahead of us. We've got a half-an-hour F3 race, then we've got F1 qualifying, and then the Spanish Grand Prix for the Formula I F1 World Championship. That will take us just about an hour this afternoon, so make sure you sit down and join us. We've got live timing and scoring available at simtvbroadcasting.com/timing, so you can follow along in real time with your favorites. Take a look at the weather here in just a moment, but 16 turns, 4.65 kilometers around here. It is not a small racetrack, but it is a very fast one here, Connor. Times about 1:36 for the F3 cars. Will be a good bit faster than that for the F1 cars, but a lot of corners and a lot of downforce. This track built specifically for this kind of car.
Yeah, you need a bunch of downforce here. You can't really be focusing on top speed, especially we're two pretty much different tracks that we're going to back to back. We have Monza that you need all the top line speed at a track like that, and now we're coming to here. That's like you said, the downforce that you need here is pretty much insane. It's a big jump, big difference between the two tracks, and a lot of these drivers might have trouble trying to cope with that.
And sitting in third is Sam Cooter out of the Volante Racing camp in the 28 car. And we were just talking about this before the broadcast went live here, Connor. The interesting phenomenon that has been Cooter, I believe that he actually missed the first 2 rounds of the season, but then he goes out and wins a race and puts himself right in the points picture in 5th. He went out and won at Suzuka. So he put himself right about 5th in the standings, and he's running inside the top 5 right now in qualifying. That tells me that maybe this is a driver we should keep an eye on for the championship should Peltomäki and Makila have issues later in the season.
Hey, he's definitely been looking strong for the 2 races that he's been a part of. Obviously, the win at Suzuka, but and he had no points last week at Monza though. So he's gonna have he needs to have a lot more consistency to put his way back up into a championship. I think he's almost close to 50 points back, and he's gonna have to get some podiums here and probably a bunch of wins here to try to get back into that race.
And taking a look at the field size today, just about 17 cars, which seems a little bit down, so that might make things a bit easier for drivers starting towards the tail of the field. One of those drivers right now, Enzo Haiseta, in the number 4 car, working his way through turns 7 and 8. Watch the curb on the right side. And of course, Haiseta, for Crown Racing in the number 4 car, we would expect him to run a little bit higher up than this. His best lap time so far, a 1:41.0, which is about 5 seconds off pace. I would bet you that he's going to come on through and improve that this time.
Yeah, we're going to see here. Hopefully he does get up closer to the field. You never want to start pretty much shotgun on the field. 15 spots to get to the front is a really hard task, so he's going to have to really get something going here. This is pretty much going to be, unless he takes another lap after this, is pretty much going to be his only shot at it.
Yeah, this probably will be his only shot at it. He might get back to the start-finish line before time runs out, but it's going to be close. 20 seconds left. Haiseta out of the final corner, turn 16 up underneath the grandstands here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Cross line of 1:39.358. It is a pickup. Only good enough for 15th, though, so he'll get one more lap, in theory, to lay down a time before we turn loose for half an hour here this afternoon. So with the checkered flag out, we've got about 2 minutes left for Haiseta to come around it. Whether or not he'll improve, we'll have yet to see, but not a great qualifying effort otherwise. Frederick Larson, 16th right now. Daniel Florea has not yet laid down a time, and I'm not sure that he was able to cross the line before time expired. So we'll see if he can run a time, but Jan Mikilla and Sam Coutert jumps into second at the last moment. A 1:36.693 puts him on the outside of the front row, sandwiching those MPH Racing teammates, Mikilla and Peltomaki.
Yeah, it's a pretty big jump to go all the way to second to split those teammates up, like you just said. If you can get a really good start on the, if you get a really good jump here, he might be a bit of trouble for these two teammates here to have to deal with him for the race win.
So waiting for the conclusion of qualifying here for our first race of two this afternoon. If you like what you're seeing and you want to join us here on SimTV more often, you can hit the subscribe button and hang around. We've got one more race after this, and then tomorrow afternoon we've got Weekend Warriors Spec Racer Fords from the Nürburgring, the Industry Farten layout. That'll be a fun one. Then Monday we've got ERSCA PrecineAuction.com series. As I believe we don't have any three-wide action until the 31st of August, so just ERSCA on Monday. Tuesday, Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series returns to New Hampshire. Wednesday, we're off. Thursday, Scars Porsche Super Cup heads to their next round to see a car looping it behind that. Couldn't quite get a look at who that was. I think it was Jacob Toffs in the 116, so he's gone for a slip and slide. And take a look down from high above here. We already took a brief look at the weather. 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is relatively cool here, Connor. That tells me we're going to see high grip conditions for most of this race.
Yeah, it's going to be really gripped up. There's really going to be, I guess, no room for error, because of all the grip you have, you really have no excuse to pretty much mess up. So you're going to have to be on your toes for, if you get too much grip through a turn, you're going to have to be careful that you don't loop it around. It's going to be really easy to throttle up too hard out of some of these corners. Well,
we always talk about these F3 cars having a lot of downforce and not a ton of power relative to their downforce level. That's in stark contrast to the Formula One chassis that we'll see later this afternoon. Those cars have a ton of power and a ton of downforce, and they're just everything the F3 is, but way more. So that'll be interesting to see how they adapt to the cool conditions here this afternoon. Barcelona, Jan Mikilla, Sam Coutert, Juho Peltomaki, Ross Lying, and Jacob Toffs are the top five here for the start of our fifth round of the Formula 3 season here in the Formula I World Championship. So down to the racetrack, we're getting ready to grid here. Let's run through our starting lineup here on the front row. Jan Mikilla, Sam Coutert, then Juho Peltomaki, Ross Lang, Jacob Toffs, Zach Booth, the first three rows here, Connor. Then we'll head on back to the next row and the rest of the field.
Yeah, Vincent Olivier Bear in there in seventh. I expected him to be farther up the field. He's had a points finish in every single race so far. Probably one of a few drivers in the field to still have that feat that for him. Sebastian Jackson alongside him, Chris Hansen, Orglicki, I believe, John Watson, someone I believe who could have been up the field a bit more. Just a bit of a disappointing qualifying for him. He's going to have a lot of spots to make up, and Daniel O'Keefe's in 12th right there.
Yeah, the next couple rows, Colin Black, Scott Hensley, Enzo Haiseta, Frederick Larson, and Dan Florea rounding out the rest of the field. A 17-car grid here for Barcelona. 30 minutes on the clock. It'll be about 19 laps if it all goes as scheduled. We'll see if that'll be the case. Again, you're watching SimTV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn. Finian DeCuna will no longer be with us here on Saturdays, but he'll be back on Thursdays and Sundays with Scars and with the Weekend Warriors. And we're going to get ready to turn it loose here from Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. And F3, then F1. Up at front, Jan Mikilla, Juho Peltomaki, and Coutert in the Volante Racing team car. Sebastian Jackson, that team finally has both cars in the field. And the bright blue, going to be easy to spot here. Just waiting for Coutert to jump on the grid. There he goes, and now the lights are red, waiting for the green flag to fly. From Barcelona, the Formula I F3 Championship is about to turn loose Green flag flies and we're racing from Barcelona. The field scrambling down towards turn number 1. Already Jan Makilla pulls out in front of Sam Couture. And now it's 1, 2, 3 cars spun around. That's Stan Fleury in the background. He's spun on the grid. Here comes teammates up to the left side. That's Peltomaki. Braking zone for turn 1. Couture goes to the top spot as he works on through.
Yeah, it was a power move. He immediately got behind Jan Makilla there to get the draft, get into turn 1 with a run on him, and he just powered his way under braking into the race lead early.
And he's got it as they head down over to turn number 3 and 4. Jacob Thompson to 4th place as he cycles back into where he should be. Then
Whoa, Sebastian Jackson. We got cars flipping. Sebastian Jackson got into someone there. I didn't know who that was. Glicky, I believe, is in the tire barrier, and he's already done.
Yeah, he's looped it up and over the top. And I'm wondering, was that Jackson in the blue car? There he is in front. Gretzky goes around the outside, and there's a touch there. Turns one car around, and then obviously Gretzky nowhere to go and turned up and over, and that'll probably be the end of his day, unfortunately, or at least for now. Danny O'Keefe has found trouble. He's found a gravel trap. Here goes Florea around his inside. Take that spot away. Colin Black has also looped around, so not a good start for some of these drivers towards the tail of the field. Now Jacob Toffs started up in 5th. He's looped it down to 7th, so a spin for him will get him back rolling. That was in the hairpin.
Yeah, that was a really awkward spin there. I think he just tried to go too far under braking to make the move on Peltomaki, and he pretty much looped it. He actually made a pretty good save out of that hairpin, but he lost a bunch of spots. That's pretty big spots, especially at a track where overtaking is a bit of a premium here.
Yeah, long front straightaway though, and the slipstream is going to help. Couture goes defensive down the front stretch. He will lead the first lap here in the Formula IF3 Championship from Barcelona. 2nd, Makilla. 3rd, Peltomaki. Booth flying, and Vincent Olivier Barron in 6th as they come down the front straight. Couture with a strong start already. The field getting spread out, but here comes Toffs looking to the inside of a 46 who runs wide. Actually, that was the 37 of Vincent Olivier Barron. And he'll drop on back in his Fukumuni Racing 37 car.
Yeah, just way too deep under braking there, it seems. It was actually on the curb on entry, so that probably didn't really help his chances getting into that corner as well. I'm interested to see if Couture can pull away at all here. He hasn't pulled away much yet, maybe about a couple tenths over Makilla. I'm wondering, let's see what he does. The only race that those two MPH Racing drivers haven't finished 1-2 was actually Brazil and Japan. Actually, Luke Barton won Brazil, and Couture obviously he had that pretty dominating victory at Japan where Peltomaki wrecked out. That was a big wreck actually. Peltomaki pretty much gave up all the points he was going to earn. He probably would be the points leader without that over his teammate, but it doesn't really matter right now. They're still 1-2.
A handful of teammates up inside the top 10 right now. The MPH Racing cars 2nd and 3rd, and then the CNC Racing team cars are 4th and 5th right now with Top in 6th. And then we've got Watson, Barron, Hensley, Haiseta running out the rest of your top 10. Haiseta creeping up inside the top 10 after starting in 15th, so a great launch forward for the number 4 car so far. Oh, he runs wide over the edge of the curb. That'll damage the underside of the car, so keep an eye on that. Don't want to do that too many times.
Yeah, you do that too many times, that underside, that floor of the car is going to be pretty much destroyed, but it has been a good climb up for Enzo so far. He started at the back. He pretty much avoided all the chaos that started on that first turn, and he was able to pretty much navigate his way through that and get himself almost up into the top, farther up into the top 10 here.
And here's Jan Makilla putting pressure on Couture now for that top spot. Only less than 5 minutes into this race, and now it's Couture versus the MPH Racing team cars as they head into turn number 4. And it's a little ways back until you find the CNC Racing machine cars, but they're also running pretty quick lap times, just not as quick as the front 3. 38.0s for the top 3, 38.1 for Zach Booth in 4th last time by.
And Couture had a pretty big lockup into that turn right there. I kind of expected these top 3 to pretty much pull away, but I thought it would be a bit less than this. These guys are already... They guys are on top of each other, and they're pretty much pull away from the rest of the pack, but Zach Booth's got a lot of pace. I expect them to maybe have a chance of getting up there with the help of that slipstream there. Couture really under pressure right now.
All the way out wide onto the curbing now, and you see Makilla putting pressure on Couture as they head down into turn number 9. Way late in the brakes. Whoa! Peltomaki almost drills his teammate into the hairpin, backs down, but Makilla, unfazed, launches an attack on the race leader.
I was about to say, I think Peltomaki's just letting him race, but that was pretty crazy. Way too late under braking. He was lucky to not take both the top 2 drivers out right there.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just a miscalculation because Couture might be over slowing for the corners just a little bit as a protection maneuver, and that brought Makilla into the the braking zone earlier as well, so Peltomaki may be unsure of when those cars were going to stomp on the brake pedal. Now, 25 minutes to go, 5 minutes in as we cross the line. Katerik, Mikila, Peltomaki, both tops your top 5, and the closest battle is the one for the race lead.
They have a lap car coming up. Okrogliki only a couple seconds up the road from these guys. Kuter just really seems too pressured right now. He doesn't have the speed to pull away from these guys. It's not just because of a slipstream. He just doesn't seem to have the pace in these high downforce areas right now, and Yamakila is just all over him.
Well, the slipstream is definitely helping in behind, so we'll see if he can pop out, maybe have a look here. It seems like Makila's being relatively patient. Peltomaki pushing maybe a bit too hard the last time they went down into turn number 9, but now they're going to crest 4 into 5. And nice and tidy up against the curbing. McIntyre does seem like he has not been quite as phased. That lockup last time through, but other than that, I haven't seen a lot of mistakes out of this car.
Yeah, he might be he might just be really checking up into these corners, like you said. Maybe that's the only reason Peltomaki overshot that corner here. But maybe he's really trying to save his stuff right now. We can't really tell how much people are trying to save. But yeah, Mikila's really got to run here. I wonder if he's going to go for the dive bomb. No, he doesn't.
Not quite close enough this time through, and Quintero turns in a little early. Mikila just a touch later, maybe tried to do the crossover on corner exit. Could not manage to hang on to that. So the top 3 still to throw a blanket over, but Zach Booth last time by was 3/10 faster than the race leader. He is coming in the CNC Racing number 2.
Yeah, he's looking really pacey, but when he gets there, he's going to have to pass 3 cars in pretty much 20 minutes. It's going to be really difficult to do that, but he's, like you said, he was way faster, not way faster, but he was pretty faster last lap. He's putting up good pace, but Kuter is not putting up a good pace down the straightaway, and Jan Makila's got the run.
Here he comes to the inside for the race lead. Jan Makila from MPH Racing, door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel as they head down towards the first corner. And Makila had the nose ahead for a moment. Kuter chucks it in deep into turn 1. Can he maintain driver's left? No, he cannot. And Jan Makila gets it done in the first sector. What a pass.
Yeah, Kuter just had nothing there. He had no slipstream. Obviously, Jan Makila had all the advantage. He really tried to pinch him off there, pretty much side pod to side pod action. Really tried to give him no entry into that corner, but Kuter just sent it in too far, and it wasn't enough.
Peltomaki took a swipe in turn 5 there, but was not able to make the car stick, so he will have to stay in 3rd. So Kuter now splitting the MPH Racing teammates, and this is very important for the points picture here, Connor. If you can stay in between these 2 cars, you've got yourself the chance. Once you drop out of the podium positions, the point values drop off immensely, and the MPH Racing team cars will continue to dominate the season if Kuter cannot keep splitting or improving on his position.
Yeah, he's going to have to really fight hard to stay in that 2nd position, but as I say, that Peltomaki might have made a mistake there, lost a lot of time there. I'm pretty sure if Kuter can't keep up with Jan Makila here, if he doesn't have another run, if he doesn't have a run on him in a turn number 1, this race might be over. Jan Makila already setting a really blistering pace this season. Obviously, if you let him out front with clean air, it might be over.
Colin Black from NJCB Racing into pit lane, unscheduled stop there, but we go back to the top spot, 6/10, and growing is that lead. And Kuter now holding off Peltomaki, so if he can't go win this race, the next best thing he can do is keep the teammate in behind him, and that's going to be the goal because he's got Zach Booth coming. That'll put pressure on Peltomaki soon, and once the pressure is on Peltomaki, you see them starting to weave down the front straight like Indy cars in the 500, just trying to break that drag.
Yeah, I was about to say, this isn't the Indy 500, but they got the straightaway length to do it. Kuter really closed up there on the leader there, but he obviously wasn't close enough to have any sort of look there. I think Kuter's best option is to back, like you said, Peltomaki up into Zach Booth, because Zach Booth obviously setting a really big pace right now, about 2/10 faster, maybe a 1/10 and a half faster than Peltomaki, and he's still, Zach Booth is still surging up through this field, so his best bet might be putting Peltomaki another spot down.
Enzo Haiseta up to 9th place, past Scott Hensley in 10th. And we'll go back and quickly take a look at exactly how that pass was accomplished. It was a well thought out one. Here's the look. Just got the slipstream on the front stretch, dived up underneath, and that was just a textbook pass there for Haiseta and through Scott Hensley's EMT Racing machine.
Yeah, Hensley not putting up too much of a fight, not fighting too hard for the extra point there for P9. He's just going to pretty much ride behind Enzo right now and pretty much hopefully cruise for his P10 right now. They're they have a decent gap on Højgaard Larson right now. Not too big, but it should be enough.
So Kuter, honestly, I was going to say he had dropped off a little bit, but now he's right back on the tailpipe of Jan Makila through the final sector. Tracking way out, he's got the left sides in the gravel. That's not going to work. Now aim for the curb on the right, aim for the curb on the left. 0.3 of a second separate the leaders with 20 minutes to go. We're 10 minutes in to the 5th round of the 2020 Formula I F3 Championship.
Yeah, was looking at that lap. He wasn't really that close until the hairpin. He closed a lot of time in that hairpin, really outbraking everyone today so far. Excuse you, but yeah, he's really doing a good job under braking, getting a big gap, closing up big gaps on these guys. But right now, it just doesn't seem like he has the pace out of those final couple of turns to have another look at Yamagilla.
He's just chucking the car, and I can't imagine that he's being super nice to the tires. He's just kind of launching the car and using the downforce. But look at Makilla tracking out to the left to the apex later, and look at Kater all the way out to the edge of the racetrack. Makilla's line is much more efficient, and Kater is really going to be wasting those tires.
Yeah, but who knows how much that dirty air is really affecting Kater right now. He might have just done that just because he really had no choice, trying to keep the power down, trying to get all the ground on Makilla that he can, and the car is just drifting too far wide, maybe because of that dirty air.
Yeah, maybe, and with that, you see them track out at turn number 5. Peltomaki is dropped out of the draft from Kater, now into the draft of Zach Booth. So the CNC racing car, the bright pink, chasing up the hill. Watch that curve. That is a gnarly one on driver's right. If you hit that, that'll scar the underbody of the car and probably send a shock up your back or through your direct drive wheel. That's not a fun one to hit.
No, hitting curves with the wheel like that, it's not the move. It's definitely not. You got to really be careful.
Yeah, talking about this one right here. That is not a fun one. Let me just tell you that.
I might take him over those new, I guess, turtles that Daytona has. I'm not sure, but these are definitely nothing. These are nothing you want to mess with, especially in an F3 car that's fragile as ever.
Well, the Europeans call them sausages, Connor, and I'm excited because I get to go to Road America next week and eat some Road America sausage, so I'm excited.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, the Road America next week for GT World Challenge America. I'll be down there, and I'm looking forward to that because I think everyone always tells me how awesome Road America's food is, and I think this will be my first time to experience it, and I get to go back less than 2 weeks later. What do we got going on? Race leader here.
I'm just making sure Kater doesn't overbrake and take out him and Makilla. He really tried to beat him under braking, and through that carousel-like corner, he loses a lot of time. He's really pushing in that corner. We saw it last lap, as you noted last lap, and he's really doing it again. But look at how far he's setting these tires under braking.
Yeah, I think he is trying to overcome that dirty air that you were talking about just a lap ago. And we saw that effect as he got through turn number 2 and 3. The car just pushed up and up and up and couldn't hang on to the racing line the way that you'd expect it to with all the downforce these cars have. So trying to overcome that as they head through 7 and 8.
I think he's pretty upset that he let Makilla by that easily. He's really over pushing himself to get back to him as Makilla has a flash because of his internet. I think he's driving hard trying to get back to that lead, but I think once those tires finally start dying and Makilla starts pulling away, it's not going to be good for Kater as he over brakes into a hairpin again, and he needs a lot more time loose under braking there, and he's really loose.
And Jacob Toff's closing in on Zach Booth for 4, so it's all about to converge for the bottom step on the podium, for the top step on the podium. Whoa! Lap car spun. That's the 17. Pavel spun right in front of the race leaders, and only a local caution in that area. We will continue under green flag conditions, but that spooked Makilla, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was pretty close. He almost rejoined in front of, who's that he almost rejoined in front of? John Watson. That was pretty close with those two, but he gets going over Glicky. Good job at least staying out of the way of these guys, letting them go once he finally spun. Meanwhile, we see the top 2 spread out a lot more that lap.
There's Jacob Toffs on the tailpipes of Zach Booth in the number 2, the CNC Racing Team car. And Toffs is splitting the CNC Racing cars exactly like Kater is for the MPH Racing cars. So I've got a couple guys spoiling the fun up at the front for the 2 teams. And big understeer for Toffs through turn number 4 and struggling to hang on to that. But using the slipstream, look at him dive up underneath, just trying to get air on the nose when he turns in. And he did close slightly.
Yeah, he closed slightly, but he lost a decent amount on exit. He actually looked really loose. A lot of oversteer under braking there. You have to be careful getting on those curves too hard. Another oversteer in kind of a center of a corner. They're really struggling trying to get through these turns right now, trying to get the Zach Booth.
0.4 of a second separate them, tracking all the way out to the edge of the starting edge of the curve. Makilla 7/10 out in front of Sam Kater. This is the largest lead that he has had, and I think that he's probably going to be able to pull away here, Connor.
Yeah, he's coming close to getting out of that slipstream buffer. Only a couple tenths. You only need to be behind by a couple tenths as Kater actually gets on that sausage curve right there. You only need to be out of that. You need to be away from second place by a couple tenths to get out of that slipstream, and he's really close to breaking out of that bubble.
Here's a look at what just happened here with Sam Kater. Runs out wide and just straddles that curb, and it doesn't look that dramatic, but in the car, you're basically skating on the underside of the... Oh, he spins!
Wow, and he spins right into the pit lane. He's going to lose all his spots. He's going to loop it back around. A huge mistake. Wow.
And we were just talking about how dangerous those sausage curbs are because they wreck your ability to control the car because you lift the front wheels off the ground. And here is a look. This is coming out of the chicane. And right here, he's going to get out a little bit wide, get up on the curb with the left rear tire and loop it. The driver that led the opening few laps and was running second spun out in the final corner here at Barcelona. He's back to 6th place. That was a crucial mistake, and that's going to cost him a ton. Meanwhile, for third, here's Zach Booth and Jacob Toffs nose to tail.
Yeah, Booth, pretty much, he's been doing a good job defending. I don't know if he's had to do much defending, but he's doing a good job holding off Jacob Toffs nonetheless. Gutierrez, it's a big hit in the points. That's pretty much P2 all the way down out of the point.
Trouble for Hyseta. He's got big damage on this car here, Connor, and he was running up in 9th, and I just wonder what happened to the number 4. Let's have a look. Oh, this was a big one. He was coming through turn number 9 and just gets loose up on the curb and wallops the wall. That's a big hit there for Hyseta. That's probably day over.
Yeah, that is a huge hit. That's pretty much day done. The left rear tire pretty much off of that car there. And actually in front of him, Sebastian Jackson, while Hyseta was pretty much limping back to the pits, Sebastian Jackson actually spun out on his own coming out of a hairpin or something. Not sure if that was to avoid Hyseta or what, but a huge hit for Enzo there. He's lucky to even be able to limp it back around. Yeah,
here's Sebastian Jackson. This is just a little bit up the road. I'm not sure if this was related or not. We'll keep an eye on this. Still in replay here. Looks like he might have hit some debris. Yeah, look, I think he hit some debris.
Oh, his front wing came off.
Yeah, here's another look. Watch this.
What is this? I've never. What's he gonna hit here? Does he hit the tire?
Yeah, no, he hits a piece of debris from right there, Hyseta's car, and knocks the front wing off the car.
Wow, that's crazy. He didn't see it at all. He's gonna turn in here. He doesn't make the corner.
Wow.
That's odd. Was it back on his car though? I don't know if he pit.
This iRacing things. As we go back forward.
Trying to see if he pit.
I don't think he. Oh, maybe he did. Yes, he did pit.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense.
No, but that was 8 laps ago. So that wasn't just now. So not exactly sure what that's all about. Back up front, Jan Makilla, 3.3 in front of Juho Peltomakis. Now the MPH Racing team cars. First and second, then CNC Racing third and fourth. Jacob Toffs back in fifth, and Kater trying to go back forward now. No damage to that car, other than maybe some ego, but sits sixth now, and he's got a lot of work left to do.
Well, it's definitely not just the ego. The tires, he was already pushing the tires really hard, so those are definitely going to be ailing right now at this point. He got away with that sausage curb once, but the same lap, he pretty much used it up way too much. And the bigger problem with spinning like that, he's out of P2, and he let those, like you said, he let those teammates get up to the top 2 again to pretty much dominate this race and this championship. Yeah, and again, this championship, we're 5 rounds in, and we've got a long way left to go, but you can't let teams get this far out ahead because then they're able to sort of take it easy and not take as many risks. If you're like Kater, you missed the first couple rounds of the season, then you come in and start winning. Well, you've got to be winning a lot more because you missed a couple races that the MPH Racing team cars were already competing in. So for Kater, there's a big uphill climb, especially after that mistake. Yeah, he was going to get good points. Now he's pretty much fighting to even get into the top 5. I don't know. He might be catching Jacob Toffs a little bit, actually, by 6/10 there, way faster than Jacob Toffs last lap. So he will likely have a charge back at him in these last 10 minutes here. But a huge mistake. You can't do that if you're going to get back into the championship race. Who knows? That could be the one that pretty much takes him out of this. We have to wait and see. Still a long way to go, but it's going to be really crucial as these 2 teammates are 1-2 again. And also you got 2 teammates third and fourth. Ross Lang here, this would be his first points finish of the year. I'm not sure how many races he started this season for his team, but this would be his first points finish. It would be way up the field right now.
I'm fairly certain that he's relatively new. I don't remember seeing this name in the first couple rounds of the season, so if you don't recognize him, I sure don't.
I recognize him. I know he's at least ran 1 race, I'm pretty sure, but he definitely hasn't had a points finish before, so he's going to jump up the points today.
Well, he's maintaining very nicely. Started in 4th, continues to run in 4th in that bright magenta livery. And closest bet on the racetrack right now is for 5th place. There is Jacob Toffs and Kater right behind. This is for 5th. The SimSport News car leading the Volante Racing bright blue 28. Into the hairpin here. Here comes, wow, big dive up the inside, way late.
Oh,
what a pass.
Oh, they're gonna hit. And Toffs, oh, he almost went on the sausage curb. There was definitely a bit of contact there. I believe that Toffs had no choice but to give up that position.
That was a big commitment there for Kater. Here's another look at this. Down into the hairpin. Just sends it up the inside, way late on the brakes. And was there a touch here on exit? Oh, there definitely was, right there.
Right there, and then there again. And he gets up on the sausage curb. Toffs does. He was lucky to not spin out like Couture did. A bit of an elbows out move by Couture there. He is really driving angry right now, and I don't think Toffs has another chance at him in the turn number 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty big move, but there was space left a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure it was quite as egregious as it might have looked, but it was still, in terms of Toffs' perspective, I think that was pretty egregious. So he'll have some work to do to get back by him for 5th spot. Toffs back to 6th. Now 4 seconds between McKillop and Peltomaki at the front of the field. Look at Couture all the way out to the edge of the grass there, coming through turn 4.
He's trying everything he can, really pushing the car, like I said, driving angry, trying to get any sort of positions back. He's got Ross Lang up the road. He was actually, even with making that pass, he was half a second faster than Ross Lang and way faster than Zach Booth at the same time, so he might still have a chance at getting that podium right now.
Now the run down to turn 7 and 8. Nicely tucked in. Whoa, he's wide. He's going to go over the curb, and that's definitely going to be a cut course, if not damage to that car.
Yeah, he really crossed over that sausage curb pretty harshly. He's lucky if he doesn't have any more damage from that. I don't know if he's slowing down
he was
too much here.
A little slow. I don't think it gives you a huge cut for doing that, but it was certainly very close to receiving it if he didn't get it. But that's almost a self-penalty there, Connor, to drag the underside of the car on that concrete or that metal. That's not a recommended line through there. So I think it's a little bit more lenient than it otherwise could be, just because of how much damage it can cause.
Yeah, he might have been better off just staying to the right and pretty much avoiding that curb, but he obviously cut across it because he didn't want to go off track, and he hopefully didn't cost himself his car's speed right now because he's looked pretty pacey still. But yeah, you got to be careful of that, rejoining like that when the curb's still right there.
John Watson started 11th. He's up to 7th place. Of course, Watson for TNT Racing. Got Vincent Olivier Barron for Fukamuni Racing in behind. And it's one of the closer battles on the racetrack, 9/10 between these two. Another battle I'm keeping my eye on is the battle for second for silver. It's Peltomaki, but look at Zach Booth. He's been slowly reeling in that second place MPH Racing team car.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be in time. Peltomaki 137.8, Booth a 137.6. If he does that, he might get to him by the end here, but he's probably going to have to get some more time out of this to get back up to Peltomaki here.
I just like how smooth I've seen Zach Booth. I haven't seen a lot of mistakes out of him yet today. He's been very calculated and very smooth with his lines, and 9/10 back, now 7/10. He gained big time on Peltomaki that time through.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Peltomaki. Didn't see any mistake out of him. Like you said, Zach Booth just driving really smooth. Pretty much the opposite of Couture. Couture all over the place back there, going wide in every single corner, shoving these tires into every single turn under braking. It's totally two different drivers right now.
He just sent a cone. He just punted it across the facility. And we'll have to go set that back up. 7.5 minutes remaining. Peltomaki and Zach Booth second and third. This is the battle we're watching now as the CNC Racing car closes in on the MPH Racing teammates.
I'd love to see a Marshall actually go out there and replace that curve. I'd give him $10 or something. I don't think $10 is enough now that I think about
Probably
it.
Not. Not for the risk.
No, I don't think so. Hopefully he sets that cone up perfectly, and hopefully Couture kind of treats it better. Hopefully it's definitely not doing any good to his car, but it seems like he's still got some pace in that. He last lap he still gained a lot of time on Ross Lang, so he still got a really good shot at P4 here.
He gained about 7/10 of a second on the 4th place car. Zach Booth gained 4/10 on the 2nd place car. Look at him all the way out to the edge where the green painted concrete is, and he is closing on 2nd place. And maybe Couture is going to be the one to split the MPH Racing cars. Maybe it will be Zach Booth out of CNC Racing way out to the edge again.
Everyone's using every inch of the track right now as he sends it under braking, trying to gain the time lost there, misses the curb there. Still a decent corner there, still gaining on Peltomaki. Peltomaki, maybe he drove the tires off. We saw him really send it in a couple of turns accidentally. We don't know. Maybe he might have hurt the tires too hard. And yeah, Zach Booth, like he said, he's been driving smooth, and it might be paying off at the very best time right now. His tires looking good. Oh no, more cones might have died there.
It's that same one. At least that time it wasn't Couture punting and it was Booth, but he sends it for and you have to be careful. Those cones will get stuck under your car and can cause you damage, so it's not recommended to go knock those things off every lap.
No, definitely not. You try to avoid them. They really can hurt the car. I've had him in Indy cars because I remember and he's in the gravel now, Zach Booth. Now he's starting to overdrive it right as soon as we started talking about him driving smooth. But even with that mistake, still gaining on Peltomaki. It's especially bad for some reason it's really bad in the Indy cars because I remember they don't run the cutoff there at the Phoenix track in Arizona. If you hit those cones there, you're pretty much in trouble as we see a battle for fourth.
There's Sam Kater on Lang. Defensive line by the 46. Not gonna be enough. Kater takes drivers left into turn one. Gonna touch. They touch into turn number one. Kater way fast into the first corner. He's gonna swing around the outside. He takes fourth spot away. Drama there as the wheels come together on the front straightaway.
Couture driving pretty aggressively there, but I think Ross Lang actually kind of swerved into him accidentally. I don't know if that Couture definitely pinched him off pretty hard there, trying to give him no apex into that turn, but I think Ross Lang tried coming over a little bit, and Couture had nowhere to go. Well, he had somewhere to go, but he didn't want to go anywhere, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for me. There's a lot of racetrack to either side of those drivers, but Couture did manage to grab that spot away. And looking at Zach Booth, I think you're right. I think he started to overdrive. The carrot dangling in front of his face got a little bit too close, and now he's losing time. He's now 7 tenths back.
Yeah, really trying a bit too hard there. He must have lost a lot of time on the last lap there. Not quite sure, but definitely starting to overdrive his stuff. And maybe he's probably going to be the one under pressure here. We'll see soon as he's right behind Peltomaki still, but Sam Couture is driving angry, and he is coming.
Yeah, he is. If he could get back on the podium after slipping all the way back to 6th or 7th, that would be super impressive. That's a tall task to get by Zach Booth and Peltomaki, but they're going to start fighting here. We've got 4 minutes to go. It's about 3 laps worth of racing here at Barcelona. And I think we're about to watch something very special here as we come on through. And don't look too far away. Booth is chasing Peltomaki. There's a lap car that's Enzo Haiseta pulling out of the way, but 5 seconds up the road.
Colin Black.
Oh, it is Colin Black.
Yeah, and Enzo Haiseta, he's actually already gone a lap down. He's somewhere back behind Colin Black in 15th, but Colin Black gonna let all these guys by. He's also letting Ross Lang by back there, so good job getting out of the way, letting these 3 pretty much battle for these 2 final podium spots.
Well, Booth using every inch of the racetrack now, and he wasn't using that much before, but I think he's feeling the pressure now, not only from in front, but also from behind, Connor.
Yeah, he's really got no time to waste here. He's either got to go get that second position from Peltomaki, or he's going to have to pretty much man up and defend from Couture, because you know how far Couture's going to send this under braking. You know how much he's going to pinch into turn number 1 down a long straightaway. So he's going to have to be really careful. He's going to have to pick and choose what battle he wants to fight here.
Now the run to turn 7 and 8, the quick left-right chicane that takes you uphill. A lot of curve on the left all the way out. He's been so good at just clipping the edge of that yellow curve without actually running over it. Now we're going to run way wide. There goes the cone. Well, Booth takes care of it. So
we got 2 of them.
Oh, well, there you go. It's a full-time job to keep those things upright here at Barcelona.
You really hate to see it. It's all good, though. Zach Booth, he looks like he is really struggling now. He cannot get any closer to Peltomaki, it seems, and Sam Couture is there.
All the way out to the gravel again, almost touching it, straddling the red and white ripple curbing. And now the pressure is on for Booth because he's going to have to go defensive. Couture going to have a run. He clips the curb on the right. Now it's all down to the slipstream. And can Booth hang on? I'm not sure that he'll be able to here, Connor.
He has slipstream as well, but I think that 28 machine Couture just way too strong. He's not going to have to... Zach Booth really not defending here at all. He's going to have pretty much no challenge. Sam Couture's going to go right back up to P3 here.
Start back to the bottom step on the podium, but he wants at least the silver, and he is about 7 tenths back now as he slips and slides over the front of Zach Booth's car. 2 laps to go from Barcelona.
Yeah, Zach Booth's got to be he's probably going to be pretty upset with himself right now. He had Peltomaki right in his back pocket. As Couture's going to go defensive into that turn right there. Booth goes wide around to the outside. This one's not over quite yet.
And another lunge at him on the outside of turn number 5. Gonna try to tuck it in tight, maybe late apex, but I don't think he's going to get the drive off. He didn't.
Yeah, he had to watch the curb there. He almost spun himself on the curb. I think that's going to be all well and done. And that little defense that Couture had to do right there might cost him a shot at that second spot here as I saw some smoke. I don't know if anyone spun or not. Yeah, McKilla's still out there pretty much cruising right now into the hairpin.
Whoa, look at Booth again knocking the cones out wide. Couture now has about 8 tenths of a second to close and catch Peltomaki. He's got to do it in a lap and a quarter. That's a tall task if he wants to get the spot back. And if he could do that, how impressive would that be? To run in second after leading the first couple laps, then spin out and then reclaim your second position. That would be a monumental achievement, even a podium will be a monumental achievement today.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. He's really fast right now. He actually, the last lap by, not including this lap, Zach Booth had a bit of a slide there, but last lap he was 4/10 faster than Jan McKilla, who I believe is probably taking the white flag here, as Jan McKilla is pretty much, he's probably backed it down a little bit because how much he's far out, got nothing to lose, but Sam Couteret is still charging with very fast laps, and he's got a huge run down the straightaway here.
Here he comes, 4/10, 3/10, now 2.5/10. Final lap, white flag here at Barcelona for the Formula I F3 Championship. Paltamaki from MPH Racing trying to hang on to second and make it a MPH Racing sweep in the front two positions. He's out wide, Couteret chasing him down in the slipstream.
This would be the second straight sweep for MPH Racing right now, but Juho Peltomäki, he's really got a tall task to hold off this charging driver, Sam Couteret. Couteret way wide there. He's going to lose a little bit of time, but he's still in striking distance. Look at how far he sends it into a turn. He's still got the hairpin coming up. You know how far he's going to send it into that turn if he has the chance to maybe go for the move here.
Oh, now he's just throwing the car in a little bit haphazardly. Now he's losing a bit of ground. 3/10 is the gap as they head into turn number 8 and 9.
If he has a good turn here, he might have a chance. Yeah, he's going to have a run on him. I believe he's probably going to go for the dive bomb right here. Does Peltomäki go defensive? No. No, we thought better of it.
Thought better of it. Peltomäki hangs on. Couteret's going to have one more opportunity. He straddles the curb on exit. 2.5/10 back. He might have a run back to the checkers if he can launch it in deep and hard enough. Couple more corners at Barcelona, the Formula I F3 Championship. For Jan McKilla from MPH Racing, he drove on by Couteret earlier in the race. He'll come on through and pick up the checkered flag. For second, though, it's a drag race. Sam Couteret's going to have a great run. Here they come, back to the strike, checkered flag waving. Sam Couteret trying to get back in second. Oh, they touch! They touch coming to the line. Swings back to the right. And Juho Peltomäki, second place. Couteret back in third.
And Zach Booth fourth. Actually, Jacob Toffs actually got that fifth position the last lap. He actually pulled it away from Ross Lang. Ross Lang really dropped there at the end for some reason. John Watson's going to come home with decent points in seventh. Then Vincent Olivier Barron, a bit disappointing of a run for him. He's back to eighth there, and Frederick Højgaard Larsen in ninth. We still got a long ways back to these guys.
Here's another look at this finish here. Watch this as they came out of the final corner. Couteret had to go to driver's left here, but there was just no space, and they touched right there. And he would have passed him. I think if he got a driver's right counter, he probably might have had enough of a run to get the job done, but he had to go left instead, and he got kind of run off the racetrack, went for a hole that didn't exist, and ended up third. How about 82 thousandths of a second? What a battle there. Here's a look at your race results.
That was a really thrilling finish. I don't know if Couteret could have swerved right and gotten to him. He saw space to keep his momentum up on that outside lane there, or to the way left lane, but he pretty much squeezed himself there. Peltomäki pretty much holding his line, nothing he could do there, and it was a great effort by Couteret just to get back to third. He almost got that second place finish, but just not quite meant to be.
Absolutely, and Chris Hansen, a DNF for him, unfortunately, from contact early in the race, but Sam Couteret fought back hard for a podium, so he'll end up bottom step with the bronze today. MPH Racing team cars, a sweep. Zach Booth fourth, Jacob Thompson fifth, then Ross Lang, John Watson, Vincent Olivier Barron, Frederick Larsen, Scott Hensley, the rest of your top 10. That's going to do it for the F3 Championship. Well, and we'll join you on the F1 side here in just a few minutes for qualifying for the Formula One Spanish Grand Prix for Formula I. Hang with us.